Hello, beautiful people. Welcome again to day 7 of the Abundance and Energy Challenge. Okay, so today I'm going to talk into some of the universal laws. Now, there's specific universal laws that allow us to flow with the universe itself, right? And some things that actually can create resistance if these actual laws are used the wrong way. Okay. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about the universal law of refinement. Now, refinement is really like the energy around clarity. When we refine and define very clearly around what is we actually want to manifest, and then we are able to tell the universe. One, we send out a vision, as we've discussed. When we visualize and we feel, we open ourselves to high vibration energy about, imagine having that. We release the vision to the universe. Now, as I've explained before, when we release the vision, it allows us to be able to create space to receive it in this physical world. Now, we need to be really refined and defined, so the universe really knows what we want. But when we're looking at refining and defining, we also need to clear out all the other things that are no longer in alignment. See, so often we will create contracts, or we put words into the universe, and we have feelings and thoughts, right? And all of these things create confusion. So the universe is trying to hone in on a particular frequency so it can deliver that to you, right? So it's getting really important around releasing, realizing, and saying rituals around, I release all old timelines that are no longer aligned to my higher self, to my north node, or to, my future desires, because we can end up with like all this clutter in our auric field. Now, we've started to talk about orbiting and clearing out the chakras and all these things. So we're starting to create space. We're starting to create space to receive. And we need to get really clear about what it is that you desire. Now, I know when I started doing this originally, I started to write them down. It's one thing to think them, but secondly, when we write something down, we're bringing it out of the ethers into physical form. Now, I would write it down, and I would put a beautiful letter, an affirmation to the universe and to myself, my soul, that I call this in now or in divine timing, and I would list out the things that I'm calling in. And I would always do this after I had dropped into some sort of energetic practice where I'm like raising my vibration, right? Clearing my chakras quickly. You can do it all in a few minutes. My practice was roughly about 10 or 15 minutes. Sometimes I would just turn on my favorite music and shake it out and sing, because that would put me into a high vibrational state. And then I would read to myself, and I would affirm, and I would tell the universe. I would also date it, because and leave space in my letter. Why? Because when I leave space in the letter, I can add things as I'm like, oh, I really want to bring this in, and oh, I really want to bring that in. And I always would find that I would create what I desired. Even when I was trying to create, say, a relationship, one of my boyfriends, I actually had written out exactly what I was calling in. And it was funny, once I got him, and he's a beautiful person, and we still speak quite regularly. We actually are best friends, right? Now, but we weren't aligned to where I was heading in my path, right, of spirituality and being more holistic and all the things, right? But he was still a beautiful person. But as I started to realize what I desired even more so, what was lacking, what was that, like, a diversity that I was like, oh, I really need this too, right? So it was like, oh, I needed to tweak that, right? And so I would giggle to myself that, oh, I need to rewrite that letter, and he would even laugh, because later on, after we separated, we had a giggle around how I manifested him, and then later on I was like, oh, I need to tweak this manifestation. So you can call in that you truly desire, right? When we know what we are looking for and what we're feeling into, right? So writing a beautiful letter to yourself, read it out every single day. You may even use this in the morning when you first wake up, with that heart practice that we talked about. I think it was in like day 2 or 3 or wherever it was in the challenge, right? And breathing into our heart. When we wake up first thing in the morning, we are in an alpha frequency. So if you sit in gratitude and sit in positive energy and then read it out, I hear many of times that people talk about doing these practices quickly just before bed. We clear our field. I clear and delete everything that's no longer serving me. Or you might have that shower meditation and wash away all that stuff. And then when you get into bed, you will sit there and visualize going into sleep because you're about to go into high frequencies, right? Telling the universe what you desire. I really loved the one in the morning because it was like my field was very clear. So when I would send this energy out to the universe, it was really clear. So what we need to be doing is, one, clearing our field, but two, getting really clear about what it is that we desire. The law of refinement. Remember, it's the law of clarity. It's refining and defining and being really clear about what you want. Now, you can also put in there that I call in this or more or beyond my wildest dreams. It was always something that I had written in my letter, was beyond my wildest dreams, because I wasn't restricting myself. I was open to what the universe knew I would deserve. So it knew the baseline of what I was desiring through my feelings and through my visions, but I was open to it delivering me more magic, and it always did. The universe has gifted me so many amazing things in my life and opportunities, to be a best-selling author, to do the work that I do. It was all because I listened to the universe as well and was open to what it was bringing in. I wasn't closed off. And sometimes when things would come in and it wasn't quite exactly what I had manifested, there was a reason why, because something even better was going to happen, right? Or I was going to be diverted towards something else, which is much more aligned to my higher self, my north node, right? So I really trust in what the universe gives us, the way it leads us, and I still am all about working in with the universe. Now, remembering, I'm sure I've said this to you guys before, but most of our society has one thing backwards consistently when they talk about manifesting. One, they're doing mechanical manifesting, right, which is really slow, and it's a lot about doing more so. I've got to do these things, and so it's really about using our physical actions, right? But if we actually remember that Einstein said E equals mc squared, so E equals matter, right? And that there's so much quantum science now that proves our vibration creates things. It actually allows things to come into our field easier, and actually usually a lot more than what we desired even, right? So the thing is that most people work 80% in action-based things, and 20%, if that, even in energy. But what we are encouraging you to do is actually flip this. Everything you do is energetic. So if you start to look at life and the world in the way of it being energy, you will be surprised how much your life will change. If you create little simple rituals, it's all about simplicity. How can I add these things into my life? So, when you might even burp, it's like, oh, I'm clearing. I would say things like that. When I would see numbers like 1111, I would sit there and do a quick gratitude, like, oh my God, thank you, universe, for all the amazing blessings, right? If I'd shower, I would say I'm washing away all my stuff. Even if I put my hands in, say the dish, the sink to wash the dishes, I would think, okay, I'm clearing and cleansing and releasing, I'm getting rid of that stuff. Again, when I would dance, I would be like, yes, I'm releasing. I use my breath all the time. As I breathe in, I'm receiving. As I breathe out, I'm letting go of everything that's not serving me. So doing these things are really, really important, and they can be simple. They don't have to be difficult. It's just our society is not trained this way. So we're working in a low vibration most of the time and actually using more energy to get things done. If you start to flow with the energy and you start to flow with the universe, life becomes so much more easier. All right, so beautiful people, thank you again for listening. I will be back tomorrow for the next day of the 30-day energy challenge. Remember to follow and like me if you want to see my stuff popping up. I do a lot of posts and things in my Facebook page, Energetically Inspired as well, but you'll find me on a lot of different platforms. I'm even on YouTube. There's a lot of videos that I've shared over years that got put there when my Facebook got hacked, and I downloaded as much as I could before I lost it. So a lot of those are over there. I don't use YouTube as much, but there is lots of content out there for you for free. So definitely check it out. Definitely like and follow me, and tell me what resonated. What are you loving? Are you doing the practices? Are you committed to the 30-day challenge? Because like I said, when I do these things, they ultimately change my life and so many blessings come in It's like the universe provides so much magic. Anyway, thanks guys.